We've retrofitted some old doors from the mid to late 1800s in. Got a little transom above them there. Here's a shot of the inside of the door. Transom, deer antlers. These doors are actually quite a bit larger than standard doors, maybe 4 or 5 inches taller than a standard door. So even though these doors are currently larger than normal doors, at one time they were even larger than they currently are. So whoever owned them before us had trimmed them down from their original sizes. You got the stile, which is this vertical piece, and then you got the rail, which is this horizontal piece. And the mortise and tenon right here, you can see that this tenon goes through the top, which means initially the door was probably a good 4 or 5 inches taller, and the stile was probably a good 2 inches wider. Initially the bottom probably would have been as wide as that center rail. You can see that if you compare the two, they've really cut a lot off the bottom. So this probably originally was an 8-foot high door, and now it's only, 7 feet high about. This is about as small as you can go with this door. Any more to trim off and the door would lose its structural integrity. And you can see on the far right edge of this door we've glued a strip on it to make it wider. We'd like to hit about 36 inches on this door. This is the same door as that east-facing man door, but it's a little bit nicer. This door will be used quite a bit more, and so it's going to be wider, and we'll glue that second edge on. There's the door with the second strip clamped and glued on. So I've used the power plane to get my edges close, and now I'm going to use a low angle block plane to touch them up the rest of the way to prevent the power plane from gouging into the paint job. So I can feel little high spots here. So once I've block planed it close, I can come back with my random morbid sander, 60 or 80 grit, and sand it. So feel my edges, make sure they're good. So since we bought these old doors, building custom jambs and then custom transoms with the doors. So after a couple minutes of jigsawing, you can see I have the dovetail on the left side of the oak threshold, and I've got a pin on the door jamb stile. Right there's, and over here's how they're connected. A few nails and screws, and our custom jamb is stuck together, standing there. You can see possibly the OSB sheet behind. That is where this door will be mounted. Most jambs are 3/4 inch, but I went with the 5/4 by 6 inch, which is a little bit of a sturdier jamb, which I like, especially if you're hanging these older doors. Next, we stand the jamb on its edge, line up the hinges which are already attached to the door, and we scribe the hinges to the jamb with a pencil and combination square. See them laid out there. And we're ready to route out those hinges. And here is this west-facing man door hung. Someplace you can see the transoms. See, there it is. It's probably not the final color of painting. And you can see just left of that sheet of OSB, there'll be a big double doors, sliding doors, kind of like you'd see on a horse barn.